Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Black Empowered Men Show. This is Walt Laurel, and we've got the wonderful Miss Kathy Sharp of Wortical. We switched up a little bit on you, Kathy, didn't we?
Yeah, you did.
Welcome to the show. Well, I've been listening as well as looking in the chat room, and everybody's very inspired by what you've had to say so far. And I think one of the things that will empower our listeners, the people that are on the show right now and the ones that are going to be listening to the replay is, okay, there's a lot of people out there who have a vision of working with children, at-risk youth, putting programs together. What did it take for you to go from a vision that we discussed in that first part of the show into actually putting it into action? And how would you help empower other people to do the same?
Okay, well, I'm going to be really frank and honest.
That's the way we like on the show.
This wasn't a plan. This wasn't something that I, one day woke up and said, I think I'll, put a youth plan together and work with the teens or whatever. This was one of those things that just happened as it went. I have kids, and I saw, what could happen even in my own family. And because of that, my kids were, they were hams also, and there wasn't anything out there. So, I decided to put something together in the church. I was blessed to be in a church that was open enough where, we could put on programs and shows and performances, and of course everything was biblically based, and, we had to make sure that everything was, positive for the kids. And there wasn't a whole lot of people that really want to get involved in something like that because honestly, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of dedication. And the truth is because, they were my kids, I might as well just go ahead and do it because nobody else is going to do it. I might as well go ahead and do it. And I ended up getting the rest of the youth involved because they were friends of my kids. They were all part of the same youth program in the church. So we just started doing that. Pretty much where it birthed. As it started to expand and I noticed that kids were bringing in kids, they were bringing in friends and they were enjoying what they were doing. I guess that was when I started realizing that, this is more than, just something that I could do just for my family alone. This is something that could really benefit other kids. So as far as, getting up one day and saying, okay, let me put a youth program together, I think it's just kind of every time I took a step, I believe God answered with another door, and it just kept opening. And every time something came up, another door opened. And when I decided to turn into a nonprofit, it just from there, it just picked up. We ended up, I just saw the results, I guess you could say. I saw the results of some kids that became very close to me. I saw kids that wanted to go to college that could care less about it before. I saw kids that only wanted to wear, saggy, baggy clothes and talk trash, turn around and decide to wear suits and wanted to make a difference in society when, they weren't like that when they first showed up. When you start seeing things like that at a small level, for me, it touched my heart where I believe that's how God was using me to just reach them. But it wasn't, again, I have to reiterate, it wasn't something where I got up and said, okay, how can I do this and get this thing going. It was just something that just gradually happened, and it grew as it went.
Well, is this something that you have other people who are assisting you, or are you a one-woman crusade? How?
No, I have really, honestly, I've been blessed to have people that have been willing to help me. There is a girl who, I call her my FFL, Fern for Life. She's crazy wild. She's like me. She'll probably do everything, including bungee jumping. She loves working with younger kids, but as far as working with teenagers, she has been there to help. I mean, we don't do this for the pay because obviously there is none. But I think she gets the same satisfaction that I do. So me and her have worked together. I have worked with, several adults. I had, my pastor at the time, him and his wife had been very helpful as far as, places to rehearse and just opening up their church to us to allow us to have that space, continually. They were always very, very supportive. But there's always been people that have surrounded my life in working with these kids, and it's always been incredible to me.
Have you found that as this started taking on a whole life of itself, that people started gravitating to it because they actually saw action, which is a lot more powerful than just words?
Yeah, I think so. But I think not only so much action, but I think reality or just being real. A lot of the stuff that we deal with, well, okay, an example would be this. I was interviewed by just a local city newspaper, and the lady really, really wanted to know how I wanted to affect the audience, and or what did we do to affect the audience? Because like I said, we always got a standing ovation, and people have always really wanted us to do plays for them. And I told her, and even to this day, I feel the same way. I'm not here to reach the audience. I'm here because the kids need an outlet. They really. I'm sorry, I get emotional with this because. There isn't anything out there for the kids. If you look at the media, there's so much crap, and I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that. I'm sorry. But there's just so much junk.
I can post
There's junk for the kids. And because it's full of junk, to me it's like, okay, if I could harness all your energy and get it up on stage and you could change because you see yourself. One of the shows we did, they actually had to see themselves. The main characters had to see themselves in a mirror, and they saw parts about themselves that they didn't like. And it was all part of the stage play. And
powerful, very powerful.
Yeah, some of the things were so powerful, and they really, really were meant just to affect the lives of the kids. But I have seen in one play with my ex-husband, at one time I seen grown men cry, where they got up and they just broke down because the message is so powerful, but it wasn't meant for the audience. It was meant to reach the very kids who were doing the plays. Like the one I'm working on right now called Craving Innocence, about a girl who's like Mary Magdalene, she literally has gone through hell. Well, the person who's playing the role is the same girl who's gone through the same hell, So I'm thinking, just maybe she could pull out of this. Now, will I be able to reach everybody? No, probably not. But if I could reach one kid, just one kid, and have that kid's life turned around. I mean, imagine who was the person that reached Martin Luther King Jr.? Who was that? Somebody reached somebody that made them want to take the step to be the great person they were. That's all I'm saying.
We've got our lines are blown up. We've got a bunch of hands raised. I think some people want to reach out to you right now. Let's start with caller in area code 424. Are you there?
Hi, my name is Tiara. I was part of Vertical Productions.
Oh, wonderful. Welcome to the show. Do you have a comment or a question?
No, just that Vertical had changed my life, and I still see the effects of Vertical and working with, I call her Mama Sharp. It's just, I totally see it. I still sing. I use some of the lessons about dedication and everything in my everyday life, and I'm just thankful that Vertical Productions was in my life, and I'm happy that it's still going. I'm a strong supporter and all of that jazz.
This lady, and she sounds young for the radio listening audience. This lady goes to university. She's incredible. She's probably one of the most incredible young women that I have ever had a chance to be a part of in her life. Tiara, tell them where you go. Tell them what you're doing. Tell them what you're studying.
I go to Cal State University, Dominguez Hills in L.A. I just finished 2 bachelor degrees in Africana Studies and Psychology. And in the fall, I began my master's in Interdisciplinary Studies.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm telling you, that is a testimony that touches everybody's heart. If you wanted to say something to people out there that want to start maybe another Vertical, or some of the kids out there that need a little bit of direction, what would you tell them, being that you've gone through the experience already?
I would say just dive in head first. Like, you can't let your fears stop you. You gotta
I think Kathy's crying here.
But because it's so true, Mama Sharp, she always just created an energy for us to express our own creativity and add our own personality and to follow whatever dream it is that we had. It didn't matter. She was the one who pushed us and to challenge us. And if you want to follow your dream, whether it's you want to be a doctor, you want to be an actor, you want to be a singer, or a combination of the three, you can do it. You just have to continue to work at it, no matter what the challenge is, and find that person who's going to push you, to inspire you. And for me, that's Mama Sharp.